Rise and shine. It's time for me to put y'all in my business. Time to tell y'all about the apartment from hell. I finally moved out, and if you plan to move to Gardena, 16912 South Vermont Avenue, think again, bitch. Girl, I experienced so many raggedy things there, you wouldn't believe the story I'm about to tell. The final straw was them charging me double the rent. So let's get to the top. I first moved in with my homegirl during COVID. This is how they get y'all. It's 2020. We fresh out of college. We excited. At the time, I had a boyfriend, and we got into it real bad. And as I'm getting ready to type up this hefty ass text message, I see a fly, and I'm like, okay. What the hell is that? No windows open. Then I see 100 flies coming out of the wall. I'm screaming. My roommate runs in. She's like, what the hell? What the hell? Girl, it's termites. I've never seen a fucking termite in my life. We're spraying them down. I'm running in a circle. What am I supposed to do? So we tell the people, they basically like, okay, we're going to send somebody. My roommate's like, no, we got a family friend. We'll call him. He poked some holes in the wall, asked some foam, and basically tell us that termites get out of the wall when it's too goddamn high and they ate up most of the damn wood. He did say they're harmless, but I'm like, this is crazy. We just signed our lease. Fast forward, we're getting hella issues, and it's like small issues. Lighting fixtures out, this out, that out. They take forever to respond. Then they start switching it up. I'm like, okay, they got new people in the office. It's getting better. Y'all remember how we had them termites? Well, they decide to go to the opposite side of the house. And at one point, we have an earthquake. It's also by a funky-ass alley, and I promise that's the most ghetto part of the building. For some reason, people was just throwing stuff. People going through the dumpsters. It's trash everywhere. So I started seeing mice outside. Bitch, I don't even play about nice. At this point, we on year 2. I'm at this event. My roommate calls me. She's like, oh my God, girl, I just seen a mouse running across the floor. A what? A what? Girl, I got a phobia of a mouse. I was scared as fuck. We call these people. They send somebody out. He's like, I can put down sticky traps or the little snap traps. At first, I was like, sticky traps. But then he was like, well, they're going to just stick around. And a lot of times they avoid them. So I'm like, okay, snap trap. This nigga just, he puts down the sticky ones. We told you what to do. So I have to become Inspector Gadget because they're not taking our concerns seriously and they're not giving us what we need. And my issue is y'all send people out late, and if y'all do send somebody out, y'all don't do what y'all need to do. So I literally buy this small ass camera, put it under the couch, and I go buy some snap traps. Now I'm a vegan, but I don't let no rodent up in my shit. It's not happening. Girl, we had to become Bob the Builder Ed and set up a snap trap because we have the smartest fucking mouse in America in our shit. He was getting the snacks off of the trap and not getting caught. So I had to do this whole ass mechanism, and unfortunately, rest in peace to little homie, but he had to go. So my roommate's dad at the time lived across the street, so he comes, he takes it out. We're happy. Come to find out, when they come back in our house, I'm like, there has to be a hole in here. First of all, I've never been a dirty bitch. So what's the problem? Well, it was because the termites ate a hole in the wall, and that earthquake made a hole in the attic little storage room that we had downstairs. So they finally came, they sealed up the holes. No more mouse, whatever. At this point, we're talking about, okay, we're going to find another place to move because this shit is getting fucking ridiculous. But my roommate decides like, hey, I want to spread my wings, do my own thing. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. So as I'm looking for a place, I'm like, I'm not paying. No. Because COVID is over at this point. The prices is skyrocketed. I'm like, you know what? I'm better off just staying here. Now, this is when things start getting interesting. They're much nicer until they're not. It's like dealing with a Sour Patch Kid. 1 minute they nice, 1 minute they rude. So I'm telling them like, hey, I'm noticing some mold in my sink. Can y'all come scrub it? They actually do come and do that. I have neighbors at the time and they're telling me the same thing. They basically telling them, no, it's your responsibility. So I had some up here again, this time in my bathroom. They're like, well, we just want you to know that surface mold is a responsibility of the tenant. I said, no, it's not. I'm not doing that. So they got a funky ass attitude. They're basically arguing, going back and forth, but they come and clean it up because I feel like people forget that you have tenant rights. You absolutely do. Mold is a responsibility of the property manager or owner. Fast forward, I have this light that goes out in my bathroom and sewage back up in my bathroom downstairs. I just got off of a nice ass vacation. Why it smell like ass in my house? So I told them to come. They don't clean it. They come weeks later and they fix whatever sewage issue it was. I honestly think it was just a backup and there was nothing to fix, but whatever. He came, he touched it. But my light is out in this bathroom. Now, it's the type of lights that are like those where they're stuck in the ceiling. So you have to like manually pull them out or apply some string. When I tell y'all, I sent that to them in February. It's almost a new year. It's August. Still no light. My light went out in my bathroom. Upstairs, this is my personal bathroom light. Can't see much without that light. There's a light over the shower, but whatever. I end up burning my fucking neck trying to do my hair because they did not replace the light. And until I said, I'm starting to hurt myself because y'all don't have this light fixed, that's when they finally sent somebody out. Now, the mold starts to appear again, but this time it's on my fucking clothes. So I'm like, okay. I got nice clothes. I'm just a nice bitch in general, so I don't ever communicate like, what the fuck are y'all doing? But sometimes I have to be like, seriously, what are y'all doing? So somebody comes out that wiped out the mold. It's some in my closet. It's cool. Maybe a month later, I'm starting to see it appear in different places. So I'm like, this is very serious. Like, at this point, I'm living in a place with mold. I have asthma. I can barely breathe in this bitch, which is why I wasn't able to do a lot of my workout videos, because my workout videos are in my guest room. I'm more fatigued. I'm getting exhausted. They end up sitting the head property manager, and this man was trying to gaslight the fuck out of me, and it was really making me mad. He comes inside my house. He's like, how do you know it's mold? I'm like, well, mold has a mildew smell. You can clearly see the mold, and that's what mold is. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. I'm not a scientist, but I know facts. This dude is like, okay, well, there's no moisture in the room, so I don't really know. And I'm like, well, I have had experiences before where it's rained really bad and you can see it come through the wall, but there might not be moisture in the air, but there's definitely mold right here. So he's like, oh, well, can you show me? So I go downstairs, I show him by the sliding door. He's like, well, I don't think this relates to upstairs. And I'm like, it does not, but it's just an example of water can't get through here, whether you can see an opening or not. He's like, right, well, I don't know. Well, maybe you can wipe it down, and then if it gets exaggerated, we'll come back and do something about it, or you could buy a dehumidifier. I said, I'm not doing that. He's like, okay, well, you can buy a dehumidifier and we'll reimburse you. I'm like, okay, that works for me, because it's not my responsibility to manage mold, and then I would be held responsible if I get more sick. And then they had these holes in our wall for 9 months because the city wanted them to add a heater, but they hired the cheapest contractor. So they had to keep coming back to fix them, and I did not pay to see blue tape all on my fucking ceilings walls or have these people invade my space. Y'all know when they fixed that was literally right when I moved. All of a sudden they sealing up the walls, and they had got approval for it like a month and a half before to start closing them up. And it could have been done faster had they not been cheap. But this man gonna tell me while he's there, yeah, I wouldn't even use that heater. We just got it because the city told us to. So basically y'all building half-ass shit. He leaves. I get no follow-up. So I'll call the next day like, hey, what's the update? When the property manager gets on the phone, this bitch got an attitude worse than a toddler. I can tell she's pissed, and I'm like, I don't understand why this girl's mad, but whatever. I'm just like, hey, I need an update. He came yesterday. He didn't do much. He told me that y'all were gonna call somebody, just following up. She's like, well, yeah, he came yesterday, and it's not gonna be something that's really fast. And I'm like, okay, well, nobody wiped down nothing last time y'all came and wiped down something. She's like, well, we don't do that. I'm like, well, somebody did. She's like, well, I would never send anybody to do that. I don't know who did that prior. I'm like, but you're the property manager. If you didn't send them, I don't know who did, but they did that. Well, we're not doing that. I know mold is not good for people who have asthma. My husband has asthma. Maybe you can just go down there and wipe it off. I said, if your husband has asthma, why would you ever suggest that somebody who has asthma go in there and get in contact with mold? Well, you want us to fix it fast. And I'm telling y'all, her voice started getting louder and louder. And you know what? Normally, I would try to be a Saint Sally, but I'm gonna match energy every time, because who the fuck are you talking to? I'm like, first of all, let's take a step back. I pay to live here. I'm not paying no little money, and I'm living with Mo. And you're telling me I don't need to inhabit the area that I pay for, that I also work in. So after a while, I'm like, you know what? This is getting nowhere. When you send it somebody, I'm gonna call him today and get back to you. I'm like, okay. I'll call the guy that came yesterday, the head property manager, let him know like that was a very disrespectful conversation I had with homegirl. Y'all got recorded lines. Listen to it. He's like, well, I'm sorry you feel like that. If she did something wrong, then I'll hold her accountable. And I hate when somebody say, I'm sorry you feel like that. He's like, oh, and we're just doing our best. You know, give us some time. I need to know how much time I need to give y'all, because why did these people not get back to me for like 3 weeks? I literally called the city and reported them for mold. The day that she comes and looks at the mold, all of a sudden they're calling like, oh, they didn't even call me. They text me and said, oh, I'm so sorry. I just realized we did not do anything for your unit. Why would you not do something for somebody's unit who has mold? The city basically tells them like, yeah, y'all need to get this shit fixed. Now the mold that was in my guest room, it was like surface mold. And later, when I'm moving out, I'm taking stuff off my walls, and I see that I have black mold in my room behind this, what is it called? It was like a calendar. So I'm yakking, because what the fuck? Whole time the mold's even here with me. And I'm telling my sister like, yeah, this will be the last month they get money from me. Like, I'm done with them. Not really meaning it, but I've been saying it for like a year and a half. And the way the economy is set up, the way they charge an arm and a leg to live somewhere else is ridiculous. And for some reason, I convinced myself like, well, this is the cheapest it's gonna get for this type of apartment setup. It's a townhouse, which is still very true, because the fucking price is ridiculous. But girl, the last straw of these bitches, I wake up. I got my bank notification set to tell me every time I make a purchase, because I be spending that money. It tells me I got charged twice by them for rent. So I go to my neighbors in the front. I'm like, hold on, did y'all get charged twice for rent? Because what's going on? She's like, no. I tell her about the mold. She's like, I got mold too. All on her clothes. So I'm like, this property is going to shit. And at first I almost reconsidered, like maybe it was just a mistake. I hit them up. They're talking about maybe it's your bank. No, my bank said they'll send me a ledger. It was y'all asses. And as I'm in the wee hours of deciding what I'm going to do, my neighbor calls me to tell me that my other neighbor beat the crap out of a neighbor. It's blood all on the floor. It's real violent. Oh yeah, and I got followed home one time and I had to pull out my little gat. It sounds like a circus because it was. The problem is I have no fear. The plus side of all of this is that I realize I need to actually start accepting and listening to myself when I'm saying I'm not interested in something and not just saying because it's convenient. I'm so grateful that I left. Like, I feel so much better. My body is tired as fuck from moving. Even though I have movers who charge me $1,600, that's another fucking story because they are scamming. But none of that can bring down my joy. Like, I'm just happy to be somewhere that I can call my own, that I've started on my own by myself. And after this, bitch, I'm getting into a house. I can't do no more apartment hunting. No. And yeah, to the people, the property management company, I know y'all going to shit because I read y'all reviews and I'm writing a nasty one soon. So yeah, vote for rent control in Los Angeles and for accountability for these fucking management properties.